What's going on, amazing people? I am Michelle Farley, MichelleFarleyWrites.com, and I want to welcome you to my creative parlor here on YouTube. Now, if this is your first time joining my channel, you're probably wondering, what is a creative parlor? Basically, it is a space for all types of creatives. So whether you're a writer, an inspiring writer, an actor, a singer, a sculptor, this is a place where you can get inspired to turn your talents into a profitable business. Whether that's a side hustle, whether it's something you eventually want to do full time, this is the place for you. Today, I'm specifically talking to authors and writers, or those who are aspiring to be a self-publishing author. I want to talk to you about the 5 myths about self-publishing. You ready to get started? Let's go. All right, myth number 1. People only self-publish because traditional publishers didn't want their work. Absolutely false. Now, there could be an instance where someone submitted their work to a traditional publisher and it was rejected. That does happen a lot. However, I would dare to say, in my humble opinion, that people self-publish because they realize how much more profit they will receive by doing it themselves, doing it independently. When you have a traditional publisher, although they do have more power to get your book seen and on bookshelves and in a variety of different languages and a variety of different countries, all of that is true. There is money attached to that. And the more money that goes out, the more money that's pumped out to get your book seen, the less amount of money that you're going to get back in return. Now, for larger publishers, for sure you might receive a fee up front, where they give you an advance, but until your book starts making the profit and they receive all of their money, that's the only money you're going to receive until they've made back the money they put in there. And that could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. Whereas you go to the self-publishing route, yes, there's more sweat equity involved in that. Yes, there's definitely going to be money pumped out of that too. You're going to be grinding for sure. But the benefit of that is that your profit margin is going to be substantially better in your favor. Myth number 2, if you decide to self-publish, you can never work with a traditional publisher in life. The in life part I added, but you see how ridiculous that sounds. That is absolutely false. There has been many examples of people who decided to self-publish their book, build a following, and that raised or perked the ears from someone at a traditional publishing house, and that they were able to move to a traditional publisher. There are instances now where you might see larger publishing houses have like these subdivisions within the publishing company to actually find self-published artists or authors, independent authors, and to get a book contract signed. So don't believe the hype. You can most certainly start as self-publishing and move your way or transition to traditional publishing if that's the road you want to take. Myth number 3, people who self-publish don't care about quality. Absolutely false. I would dare to say that people who self-publish are probably more in the weeds of making sure that their cover is right, that they have their book edited once, twice, maybe even 3 times, that everything makes sense and that it is laid out perfectly. They're definitely making sure that every I is dotted and every T is crossed. Now, I would also like to mention that a lot of traditional publishers, just because you go through a traditional publisher, doesn't mean that something doesn't get through the cracks of that. We've seen where there has been like New York Times bestsellers, and there's definitely been a misspelling or a mishap or something in everyone's book, right? Because we're all human and people are fallible, right? So nothing is 100%. Nothing is 100%. Nothing is 100%. Do not let that thought that a self-publisher does not have the same standard for their book as a traditional publisher. Myth number 4, self-publishers only really care about ebooks. Absolutely false. In fact, self-publishers have evolved. I would say maybe in the last 15 years or so, a lot of self-publishers were just ebook only, and they were very profitable, right? And I would say even the self-publishers of the world actually convinced traditional publishers that ebooks, Kindle, Amazon, all those types of book services, that they should actually have digital as well as traditional print. We've seen the need for digital products continue to grow, as well as traditional print books. I will also say that self-publishers have also gone into the realm of audiobooks. That, 10, 15, 20 years ago, people really didn't like audiobooks, right? Books on tape didn't really sell as much as those digital products now. Why? Because people like listening to books and stories in their car or walking or jogging. Maybe they don't have the physical time to sit down and read a book, but they have that time to listen to it. And so I believe self-publishers have definitely been able to get into that marketing space and expand their book just from ebooks to print books to audio. Even turning their books into some type of podcast. So it has definitely been profitable for self-publishing, and it has been a blueprint for traditional publishers to use as well. Myth number 5: self-publishing doesn't make any money. False, false, false. Depending on the type of niche that you're writing for, depending on the type of book you're writing, so whether that's a children's book, whether this is a mystery, whether it's sci-fi, there is an audience for you. More and more people don't want to hear the same stories, right? Traditional publishers use what works, right? So if there's this particular story that it resonated with people, they're going to continue to do a continuation of that story. And then there's that group of people who want to know more and have a different spin, not even a different spin, but just a whole new type of science, say a science fiction. They want a whole new type of story, a whole new world. So these are writers who are self-publishing, who are giving the people what they want. And because they want it, they will pay for it. And it's become very profitable, especially, again, going back to having it in ebooks, having it in audiobooks, having it go on a Kindle, having it accessible, having those stories accessible to the people who want it in the way that they want it, right? So taking a story that is self-published and turn that into a podcast, turn that into a web series, all those different things that are bringing new audiences to their work has proven to be beneficial. And again, going back to the beginning of this list, is that when you are self-publishing, you control what your profit margins are. So as much as you put out, as much work as you're putting out, it's gonna come back to you in different piles, I won't say the piles of money, but it's definitely gonna come back in different income and different forms of that, okay? So be encouraged. Okay, so those are my 5 self-publishing myths. I hope this was inspiring and helpful to you. Yes, self-publishing is not easy. I won't even lie to you. There are gonna be days where you're like, what am I doing? Why did I decide to do this? But I guarantee you the joy and the good feeling of knowing that you have done all that you can do to make sure that your book is successful, that is a feeling that cannot be compared to anything else. It is long days, it is money being spent. There are things that you don't know that you're gonna have to Google or learn or take a class on to do, or to get advice from someone else. But the benefit and the feeling that you receive when you see something that was in your heart to do finally take legs and walk, man, best feeling ever. Best feeling ever. So I hope that this was helpful. If so, please leave a comment or, like, share, all that good stuff. I'm on my way to 1,000K. At the time of this video, I believe I have like 760-ish followers, and I'm super, super grateful. So if you found this video helpful, go ahead, like I said, give it a thumbs up, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. And if you don't, no worries, no worries. All right, so again, my name is Michelle Farley. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time we speak, I wish you peace, joy, and blessings, love, all that beautiful stuff, and we'll talk real soon. Bye.